We need to get him on.
Yeah, it'll be fun. He said he got a lot of stories and stuff too. So yeah, it's exciting. We got like I too scheduling a conflict. I've kind of scheduled them, and I still haven't checked. But 2 of our guests might possibly be scheduled for the same day. I don't think so.
I'm here for that, though.
But I need to double check, and that's a good problem to have, that we have a scheduling conflict.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
We have some of the dopest people coming on.
I know.
I have never been, this is silly, but never been so excited to connect to people.
I know, yeah.
That it feels like such like-minded out of nowhere, which remind me of your word, about like the connection from all across. I mean, we have people literally all across the world that are about to come on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm giddy about it. Did I tell you like kind of our mission statement?
No.
I mean, that's something I don't like mission statements. Maybe that's the wrong term, but I was thinking about it. And maybe I think this is our heart and our goal, but it's like to highlight and showcase and reveal Jesus in every guest and in every episode, the person of him.
Yeah.
Because everybody has such a unique piece of him. And so I saw it. It's like everyone that comes on, and even every episode we have, there's another part of him.
Yeah.
And it's uniquely connected to the people. But when those people share that piece of him, other people can see more of him.
Totally.
It's like that artist downtown here, his Jesus paintings. And it's unique to him. Like that's what he sees,
Yeah.
And he was able to share his connection with the Lord.
So beautiful,
with
man.
Me and other people that see it. And when you see it, it's like, yep, that's him.
Yeah. Especially when it's so like, when it's truth for me, like, and it's him, like when it's truly the Lord, I feel so like a gravitational pull.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I want to know your stories.
Absolutely.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
How wonderful the things that the Lord has taken you through. How wonderful the breakthroughs the Lord has taken you through. Like to me, it's the testimony of Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like,
and it's, like you said, from guests from all around the world. We all got the same dad, and you recognize him.
Yeah.
It's
literally like family. I feel like family is like the reconnection, the reconciliation of family.
Yeah. It's incredible.
All my brothers, all my sisters, like, I don't know. And it's just like, even some of the things that, even if, some of the guests that we have coming on or whatever, like maybe they're not in the exact stream that we're in or the same lane, you know, and they bring something different.
Yep.
But I don't think that takes away from any of it. I think it enhances it. And, if something isn't always like resonating with you, you can always let that one go.
Sure.
Because I think that the things that the Lord brings that starts to resonate is the perfect timing, the things that you can capture from this.
Yeah.
And then you can dive into it and make it a part of you and like let it become your very being. But that's why I think it's so cool that we have such a variety of people coming on.
Yeah, me too. Different veins, different branches. Yeah.
Different like
but it shows how vast he is. He's in everything. He truly is.
Like I think of like Dr. Judd Burton, right? Like highly academic, brilliant archaeologist, brilliant scholar, like wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? And then we've got other people that have like rich, mystic, prophetic experiences. So it's like they get to go hand in hand, like it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm so excited about what 2023 is going to unravel.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like we're scratching the surface. Like you and I were just talking about, like...
this ain't nothing.
Yeah, before we even started this, James said something that felt sweet like honey on me, like when you were saying it. But even in life, like we're all just scratching the surface of this abundant life, of this miraculous, supernatural life and life abundantly. Like we haven't seen anything yet. Yeah. And I do believe things are going to unravel.
And what's cool about that is like, for me, I'm amazed. Like I'm so like happy. It's unconditional, but I'm so thankful and happy like right now.
Yeah.
High as a kite, but there's more,
I think there's something to that though. Like, well, one, when you start to approach life every day by like, what's the adventure in this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are we going to see the breakthrough? What are we partnering in together? And like, it's like, it doesn't matter what's actually going on because we get to see the breakthrough of heaven in different spaces. And maybe it's not like I heard this today, like a Super Bowl day every day. Like maybe it's not the Super Bowl, but we have the ability to connect to the heart of the Father where it does become the Super Bowl.
Every day, yeah. Everywhere.
Where it feels this exhilaration and this like, I don't know, crack cocaine feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just chasing the feeling. It's like,
it's an intoxication from the inside out.
Yeah, because you feel so secured, you feel so loved, you feel so valued by God.
Yeah.
I think that should be the aim of every day.
Yeah.
Is to actually encounter that, his person, that unconditional love. And out of that will flow everything.
Yes.
But if you don't receive it for yourself, you never can go give it away.
Yeah. Right.
But I think that, for me, that's where I'm at. Like,
cool.
Having such an intention to encounter the love of God, to encounter his person.
Yeah.
For lack of better words, let him love me.
Yeah.
And then see what happens. See what angels come. See what creatures come. Like, I used to seek experiences just for the sake, like, I wanted to see angels. Because that was always in my heart. Like, so the Lord was so gracious and I would have encounters with angels and stuff. But I feel like I've gone beyond of like, it's not just about the angels.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah.
But of course they're going to be there when you encounter God because the angels surround him.
It's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course you're going to encounter them. Like that's a byproduct. It's not about the angels themselves. It's like what they're bringing. It's what the interaction with heaven. Yeah. Because they're all flowing from his heart. And so.
I was thinking about that last night. Well, I read a book, had angelic stuff in it. It reminded me of angelic stuff, but it just felt so completely normal. Like it's not a divided thing. It's not it just felt like one life, physical. It's all one and the same. And I really felt that last night. And I didn't feel any religious lingo with it. Like even with prayer and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the way that I'm talking now is the way that I talk to God.
Yeah.
The way that we talk with one another.
You don't say Lord God,
no,
Jesus,
Lord
God.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
No, we just talk. I don't even there's no introduction to our conversations. I don't sit down and all right, here we go.
Do you start everything with dear Lord and then amen?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you have to end it with that or it doesn't count.
It doesn't work. There's no witchcraft formula on it.
No, but it's all so normal. And of course, it's like I'm fully open to seeing whatever it is, but whatever it is that I see will have a purpose and it will be forward motion. It will be a practical or a message or something like that.
It's for you.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't see it.
Yeah. And it's just normal. But.
So beautiful, man.
Yeah, it is. You want to do the intro now? Welcome to the Ancient Way. I just have to do it. I'm James.
I'm Marlia.
There we go.
That feels right. Now it feels complete.
Yeah, now we can start.
Now we can finally talk.
I was peeling this orange earlier. We did I'll keep this brief because it's really not very meaningful. There's a buffet in town. And every now and then, Jake and Anthony and I will go there, and Jake gets grossed out by it. It's kind of gross. I told y'all about it.
Yeah.
It's like steamy and 80 degrees when you walk in. So anyways, long story short, we went a few weeks ago after a hike, and we ended up taking pictures of the food because you can't tell what it is. And so now we play this little game where we'll take pictures of our food, extreme close-ups, send it to one another, say, hey, can you guess what this is? So anyway, I just ruined it. I was peeling this orange. Listen to this. Doesn't that sound cool in the microphone?
It's fascinating.
If I hadn't said it was an orange, I was going to peel it and give our listeners a 30-second, what is this? And that's my story.
You're so deeply philosophical sometimes.
Yeah, I know, right? Very deeply.
No, that's funny.
A philosophical box of rocks.
Well, that is a fascinating adventure that y'all do, though.
Man, yeah, it's fun. You don't, yeah.
Now you're going to eat it in the mic.
In the mic.
That's fascinating. So I really wish all the listeners had actually heard you eat that dry chicken earlier, too.
Yeah.
That was fascinating.
It was too, when you cook it, it's good. Then you refrigerate it, and when you get it back out, it's usually pretty dry.
Oh, that's funny.
You just wash it down with some Folgers, and eventually it's gone.
Okay, in case anybody was wondering, James is such an old man. He drinks Folgers coffee, and I'm pretty sure it is 90% mold, 10% coffee.
Yeah. I'm still here. I'm still here.
Living my best life. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to get into something.
Let's go.
Okay. Well, I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you want to finish eating?
No, go ahead.
What was the last encounter that you had that felt like part of you was coming fully alive? Like a place that had been locked that was coming open? And can you talk through that experience?
Yeah, I kind of did a little bit last night, really, with the angels.
Yeah.
Was one of them.
Can you go into that?
Do you want me to tell the specifics of this story?
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
All right. So I was sent...
Just so people can...
Yeah. I was sent a book. It was a Bobby Connor's Shepherd Rod book, 2023. So it's basically every year on the Day of Atonement, he'll get like a visitation from the Lord, and he'll share it with everybody. And it's got a track record for being pretty solid. Anyways, this is the first one that I've read. It was sent to me. And I mean, I opened it up, started reading it. And what's amazing about this book that I really, really appreciated is Bobby Connor. Not only, he didn't just share like, this is what the Lord is saying. And this is for everybody. He's not above anybody else, It's like to the degree that you see it, you want it, it's yours.
Yeah.
But what I appreciate about him is he shares the specifics of how he got it. He shares the specifics of the vision, and then he breaks it down. And I'm almost halfway done with it. But he breaks it down, and so there's this one section of it where this angel takes him to this room, and there's a wall of light, and then there's this like Bible that looks like it's really pretty and decorated, almost like it's a decoration. And there's a gavel. But anyways, he breaks everything down and explains what each piece of this vision means, and even the colors and stuff. And so it gave me a grid, to like, oh, okay, that's brilliant. How to interpret things, But one thing it did, some of the stuff that he saw, I've seen before, and it just triggered me with like zeal, like, oh, that's so cool.
Well, because you shared that. You should, on the podcast, you should share that.
Yeah, well, I did. It was on the pod. I pulled up that old episode, Writing on the Wall. I think it was our 4th episode. Anyway, in his vision, which happened like in 2008, we'll have to read it or something. Yeah. But anyway, he saw.
You didn't know.
I did not know. I just went in reading this, like it showed up in the mail.
Like yesterday.
Last night, yeah. And I open it. Anyways, he sees this gold light and this blue light, and it's like lightning, but it's like liquid light.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I saw on my wall. It was like a plasma is how I described it. And it was this blue and gold, lit up the room. And I mean, it wasn't like a, oh, maybe I saw that. It was like, I saw it, and I turned and I watched it until it went away. And it was there. It's like, say no. Anyways, and then he said it was angelic, which on the podcast, I said, yeah, I think it was angelic.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a bigger version of what Kelsey and I saw like a few years ago. We saw like a golden light in the hallway that phased in and out. We both saw that one. We both saw Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But this one was, anyways, it was angelic. And then just tying it all back, I went back through my dreams, did some research last night. The angels, it is angelic. And maybe a few weeks before, I had a dream about this fighter jet, which if you've ever heard of the Blue Angels, I researched them like a year ago, but it's this like group of fighter pilots with these fighter jets. I had a dream. It was you and I and maybe Alan and Anthony walking down this road right over here. And this jet,
I remember that.
This Blue Angel fighter jet flew over us and it shook all the buildings. And it was basically like a show of force, like going before us. It's like, don't mess with these people. And we were headed north. And
do you remember the next day?
Oh, yeah. The next day I was walking into work. One of our volunteers comes in. She's like, James, 2 fighter jets just flew over the building. And I'm like, well, I saw those last night.
Yeah.
You know, that's another example of they're the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no difference. But reading the book last night and seeing the angelic, like this stuff is all real.
Yeah.
The Lord shows up. The angels show up. You can't plan these things.
Yeah.
And the fact that all these different people see the same thing.
Yes.
Like, come on. Even with like the gray aliens, everything. It's like, yeah, all this stuff is very, very real. But it sparked in me like a zeal and an awareness. I'm always expectant, but now it just lit me up. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I felt more of a resolve and an excitement.
Do you know what I feel about that too, though? I feel like when the Lord brings those things in me, it sparks so much passion. It's like the passionate love of God, like that He actually has for us to show up and to showcase these things.
Yeah,
it's like He is so zealous over us that when these things come, it sparks that very nature in me. Mm-hmm. You know, and so like at that day when the fighter, remember those freaking, because we came up here and I was doing a podcast with you that day. That's right. And I remember we went out and I looked for it.
Yeah.
I was like, are you freaking kidding?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that I think that the Lord, that we have locked away within us, that emotional, that I think the Lord really wants to break out.
Yeah.
And I think it's passion. I think it's zeal. I think it's excitement. It is joy. It is.
And that's in that book too.
Shut up.
The zeal. It's in there. I have to go back and find it. But there's a specific section on that.
I have felt that. That's so crazy. But I've been feeling that so strong of like the zeal and the passion of God reigniting people's hearts to where it's not just like, oh, I'm so happy. It's like, I can't contain this thing. It feels like fire on me. Mm-hmm. I felt that like in worship. I felt that like when the collective comes together, when like-minded people. Yeah. I was listening to a guy who's talking about like, there are certain things that you can do alone with God. There are certain things in the heavens that cannot be established unless you have a bunch of like-minded people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what I feel like the church is really. It's a bunch of like-minded people setting up an embassy of heaven in a certain location, but you can't set up an embassy by yourself. Yeah. It has to be a collective. It has to be a group of people.
Was that not like where 2 or more are gathered, like a thing is established?
Yes.
That was in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Really cool.
Bobby. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm stealing all your words.
But that's true, yeah.
But there's something to it. And I think the thing is like letting yourself go there.
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking a lot about that scripture in Romans 5:5 that like hope doesn't disappoint.
Yeah.
You know, we go on tangents about like don't get your hopes up, like that crap. But there's something about getting your hopes up and allowing the passion and the zeal and the excitement of the joy of the Lord infect you.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's happening. Like,
yeah,
man. But
it's exciting.
It is. There's something, you know, everybody knows what's going on in my life right now, but you know, just the trials that I've walked through, there's something, I'm catching that, like, consider it all pure joy. Yeah. My brother's like, that's the joy that I feel coming out of me now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually really thankful for these trials.
Yeah.
Especially as I've seen this breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Zach and I in our household, like we've started to see the breakthrough of God.
Yeah.
In the midst of things getting literally stolen from us.
Oh, yeah.
It's just freaking cool,
Yeah,
man.
it is cool. Yeah.
It's so cool. But that's what I feel like the experiences that I've had with God that's been added to me.
Yeah.
That I feel we all have opportunities, right, to be the living epistles.
Yeah.
It talks about that. Like we are the living epistles of
Yeah.
God. But you can't be that unless you become that word, the very thing that he's giving you and like imparting to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fully express it unless you've possessed it.
It's true.
But so that was one thing I really wanted to talk about, kind of hit on, is like, what is one thing that the Lord has been trying to establish in you that is becoming a part of you?
Mm-hmm.
And then like kind of looking at it and just asking the Lord, like, hey, make this more a part of me.
Yeah.
Like interweave it into the fabric of my being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just sitting with him with that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what else do we have on this? Like, what else can I consume? What else needs to resonate? What needs to simmer, you know?
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
I love for me, like the Blue Angel thing.
Yeah.
And just even, you know, how much the reinforcements of heaven have actually been in your life since then.
Yeah.
You know, just the right people.
For sure.
The connections that you've made,
mm-hmm.
just the things that you have come into alignment with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no crap, the angels were on assignment.
Yeah. Well, and it's tied to like now, like what you just said, like what is the Lord bringing you into and establishing into you?
Mm-hmm.
He's still continually doing that with me. And my thing is, I think he's leading me into fearlessness and in art and with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care, like not caring who's who or anything like that. And that is being established. But those angels, man, when that jet flies over you and it shakes the street and the building and you can hear the bricks crackling and you can feel the wind from that thing, it's like, ain't nothing messing with us, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
I think there's so much in that, like, that freaking fires me up. I'm not going to lie. I'm over here like, I feel jacked.
Yeah.
And it's not just from the coffee I drank.
Yeah.
But there is something magical about the experiences with heaven.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've started to really understand, like, knowledge without experience is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But knowledge with experience is understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have to have the experiences where you feel the emotions of God. You feel the emotions of heaven. You feel his heart, right? You can't just know his heart. Just be like, oh, yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Oh, God is love. It's like, yeah, you can say that until you step in and you feel the unconditional love in the deepest spaces of your heart and you let him come and love you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just can't, it can't just be knowledge anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it's good to have knowledge of like how things kind of operate in the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Like if you curse somebody, like curses come upon yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wild. I had a dream about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, I told you about this. Where I was actually having to sit in a courtroom.
Yeah.
And all these judgments were being thrown at me. And it was like a stack of papers. And I, just with resolve, I said, any judgment that you produce or pronounce upon me will be pronounced upon yourself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I wasn't mean. I wasn't harsh.
Yeah.
But it was just this statement of like, however you judge something, it will come back on you.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, man. I think that's why it's like, dude, let there be light in all things.
Mm-hmm. And that comes back to you.
It will come back to you.
Yeah. That's it.
It's the only thing that matters, man.
Yeah, it is.
And I think sometimes like we can get into the trap of just like complaining or.
Yeah.
I have realized how culturally normal it is to just say life sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, how you doing? Oh, I'm making it. Yeah, it's all right. Or I'm really good. And your life's a dumpster fire. It's like, I don't know. It just feels so inauthentic, or even if it is authentic, it's very hopeless.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, why don't we just start judging things?
Yeah.
And putting things in its rightful place again.
Right.
You know, like if all of creation is groaning for us to be revealed,
mm-hmm.
we should actually reveal the Father.
Yeah.
Which is his unconditional love
mm-hmm.
in all things and in all ways. It's like,
yeah. And it's a flip. It's a flip of perception.
mm-hmm.
It's like close. It's closer than anything, you
mm-hmm.
know? But you have to allow yourself, be malleable to accept that, oh, maybe life doesn't suck.
Yeah.
You know, and Ryan and I, we had our guys group the other night at Stanley's. We were talking about that and about the swirl of, we were talking about, man, if I don't lay my life down, you can't kill me.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. If you know your purpose and you're in that alignment, it's like Paul getting stoned. He knew what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Even Jesus like disappeared into the crowds. They didn't take him against his will. They didn't kill him against his will, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He gave it up. But like where one or more people are in that belief and in that alignment, it makes it very real. But it's all, everybody has that choice and that decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the starting point is the awareness of, hey, that's an option.
Totally.
That is actually an option, and it's actually a real option.
Do you know what I think is brilliant too, though, about God? Is that even if you're like, hey, this is an option, but I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Because
you want it, even if you want it.
Yes. I think that's it.
Yes.
Somebody said this the other day. I had a client that came in, and we always talk about the Lord. It's really sweet. She's an older lady. And it's very interesting. I've given her, we literally talk about the Lord all the time, right? But it was so beautiful because she was like, I was praying and I just heard God say something on the way over here. And because she was like, it was just funny because she was like, I was praying that, you know, God would just, that I would fulfill all of his commandments. Like there was just something. And she was like, I know that's kind of a bold statement to say, but like, I want to fulfill all of his commandments. Mm-hmm. And she said, and his response to me offended me.
Oh, wow.
Which I laughed because I was like, of course it did. Because sometimes, you know, like, especially if we're religious, things he says just offends you.
Yeah.
But what he said to her resonated so deep with me. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
He said to her, your desire consummates the victory.
Wow. Yeah.
Here's what consummates means. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant.
Okay.
Well, I did in the sense of like having sex, but it actually means to bring to a state of perfection.
Yeah.
Your desire perfects the victory.
Yeah. That's it.
Which is his victory.
Paves the way for it.
Yeah, but it's our desire to see him, to know him.
That's it.
It's actually, we have to have the desire. That's all it is. We don't have to have the work. We don't have to have the
you just gotta want
fruit.
It. Yeah.
It's literally the want.
That's it.
If you have the desire,
man,
it will perfect the victory.
Yeah.
His victory that he already accomplished. It's like that's the only piece we have to bring into this.
Yeah.
When she said that, I almost lost my crap.
Yeah. Sit on that and feel that.
Yeah.
Like all you got to do is want it.
Yeah.
That's a relief.
Well, it's way less work.
Yeah. It's no work. You just want it. Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's a heart position.
You see it and want it. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
I was just like that, the simplicity of that, dude.
Yeah, that ignites the whole thing.
Yeah. Like you don't, it just is like, we have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
I love like, the actual I think it's in Ephesians, right? Where it talks about like, it was actually the faith of God.
Yeah.
That completes everything. Like, it was his faith that accomplished all things. So it's not even about how much faith we muster up.
Yeah.
It's about the desire to connect to his faith.
Right.
It's about our desire to connect to him.
Yeah, us having the faith of God. Yeah.
That's what produces that. I don't know. There was something in that just broke open the simplicity.
Yeah.
Right. Like Psalm 20 verse 4, it says, may he grant you your heart's desire and fulfill all your plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, for me, my heart's greatest desire is to know him.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, and then I believe, like, as you come into alignment with his heart, which is unconditional love for absolutely everybody, all of us, we can see his heart, and then he's going to fulfill all of our desires, like everything we need, like the Matthew 6:33.
Absolutely.
I don't know. My whole brain just exploded of like, oh my gosh, like when we just desire him, like it will actually perfect the victory. Like that's the partnership of us. And to me, victory is no sickness, no death.
Yeah.
Like untouchable. Wild waves of power and life and life abundantly. People being raised from the dead.
Absolutely.
Limbs growing out, eyes being, like all of the flippin' things.
Yeah.
There's just something so magnificent in it.
Yeah.
But.
Yep.
I digress.
That's good.
I just thought that was so sweet. That lady is the kindest
sweet.
lady.
Well, the fact that she got offended and she admitted it, that says two things. One, she's humble. And two, she's open to whatever the Lord says. It's not a biased voice,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. She's actually legit.
Yeah.
She's really legit.
Tell. That is something he'd say, too. I mean, that's just it. Yeah.
That was the thing. Like, when his voice speaks, it's like... that feels right.
That's the guy.
Yep. That's him. That's my dude.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And you know what I've even noticed? Like, how effortless it really is to connect to him.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
Even like reading the Bible or whatever, it's like, if you're striving to try and see him, that's, like trying to read and like extract something. Cause I can kind of get in that mode where I'm like reading and trying to like pull out something. And I just realized how much my brain has been constructed by religious mindsets.
Yeah.
It's just like, we don't have to hold any religious grid.
Right. Yeah.
I just think that, the only time I like the word deconstructing is in that context.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. It's really about the only deconstruction.
Yeah. And not about like breaking down, like, I hate the word theology, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, what's your theological stance? I don't give a crap. And I don't even care about deconstructing theology.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to let go of every religious mindset that possibly could ever have that would blockade me from knowing him.
It is that simple. Yeah. I was praying that yesterday. Well, kind of. On my run, I was praying that any system that is built to hinge on dependence to something other than him, I was just praying against it. Like dismantle that.
Yeah.
For people, I don't know who I was praying for. I'm just like, hey, any system that people grow dependent on other than him, dismantle it. Like let it be
untangle it,
cursed or dismantled, that system. But yeah, that's it. Oof.
I feel like that's such a key, man, in all things, is like even asking the Lord, like, is there any system that I have created or any foundation that I have that isn't you?
Yeah, any of them, anything, yeah.
And just be open with it. And I don't think, if there is anything, he's a good shepherd, he's going to lead you into it. So you don't have to force it or like work it out or whatever, but like actually asking him, is there anything there?
Yeah. Well, and he can dismantle it. Like you were saying, to dismantle something, you do it brick by brick, piece by piece. With that comes understanding. There's patience involved.
Totally.
It's not like he's just ripping your head off and like, oh, this isn't you. And
he's not in a hurry, and he's not about damaging.
No, he plays the slow game. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was telling Zach.
Yeah.
Just the other day, though. Like, we were kind of talking about my car getting stolen and all that, the drama.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what I think is so sweet? Is that the Lord knows how much what is being established in us.
Yeah.
And if he had just gone right after this, even 7 years ago, like when we got married, and I feel like it would have done more damage. But it's like, no, he is so patient in how he does things. And like, he's not in a rush, that there is no pressure. It's like, just follow him.
Yeah.
I think I can for sure kick into like, well, that didn't happen fast enough.
Yeah.
This should be happening faster. Especially like, I think relationally, that's like a big thing. Like in your marriage, you're like, for the love of God, get over this stuff already.
Yeah, right.
To be honest. Maybe that's just me and only me, but
it's probably a lot of people.
But it's like, it's been cool because like even that, the Lord's like, no, give everybody space in their own journey, and actually trust that I am the good shepherd just as much for Zach as I am for you.
Yeah.
And like being even proud of the progress that like he has made, that I have made, that our family has made. And like, I just think when we start to value all the good things, like that Philippians 4, like 8 and 9, like whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is praiseworthy, like think on these things.
Yeah.
Like there's something I believe that is like a gravitational pull when you choose to actually see the growth in people, when you choose to see like, wow, like that really has shifted in them.
Yeah.
Instead of just being hypercritical or, just even edgy or whatever. There's something beautiful in that. But
it was thinking about all this, the unraveling stuff. Lord's been dealing with me. I don't even like it. Sounds like with
I've been spanking you.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
kidding.
like every time you say that. He's been dealing with me real good.
I guess that's true.
He's been bringing up things with like, I've had like a lot of meetings and get-togethers with people and stuff. That whole public humiliation thing.
Yeah.
People calling me out in front of other people. Well, he gave me a warning, not a warning the other day. He gave me a heads up. He said, hey, be prepared for a shot or two.
Yeah.
And it didn't give me fear of like, oh no, this would lock me up. It made me think like, oh, okay.
You were aware.
I was aware, zero fear of it. And I almost like was excited about it. Like bring it on. And it kind of did. And it was diffused. It wasn't anything. It was minor, but it was like a little cheap. There's some cheap shots, It's funny to think about it. But he's dealing with that with me, which is good. It's exciting because that's one of those weird ones, man. And stuff comes up. I had to re-forgive a lady. It wasn't even I felt a little bit of sadness for this situation. I was at a seminar. It was a few months ago. Really wasn't that long ago. I don't know why I get called out in these things. It's always the teacher. They have the same tone and stuff. There's a lady with some organization in town. She was talking about the workforce. And it was me and then, a bunch of old men and city leaders and stuff. I'm in there with them. And she said something like going over the demographics of the workforce and how crappy kids are. Nobody wants to work. And she said, in the ages of this group that they're so used to staying at home and not doing anything is ages like 20 to 30. And she looks at me. And I pay attention to people. I look at them. I listen intently, nod my head. I help people when they're speaking in public, I think.
Yeah.
Looks at me like, what are you cutting your eyes at somebody? Looks at me. She goes, yeah, I'm talking to you. in front of all these people. And I just started laughing. Oh, like, what? Like, I'm in this, I'm not like a, but it was a thing for her.
Wow,
yeah,
though.
It was funny. And I had a guy that I know, like, next to me. I just kind of looked at him like, and I was like, what? Or shrugged my shoulders like, what'd I do? It's like, I could probably run circles around you, lady.
Holy crap.
Yeah. But it's just a pointed thing. And
how
that
saucy.
I know. That one, it didn't bother me. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I got a target on me. Look like a kid or something.
Teachers be calling you out from A1 day one, dude.
I know it all the time. This is a recent one. But she had that same kind of teacher vibe. But I felt bad because something in her, I don't know if it's some kind of insecurity or something. Like I really need to call this kid out. So I'm not a kid, You're
literally full grown.
Anyways, weird. But anyways, yeah, there's been situations coming up where I see those things on the horizon. And the Lord's like, hey, we're going to deal with this stuff in a good way. Like it's time to conquer these things. And not that it's ever, I think it's coming to the point where when it happens, I will call it out.
Yeah.
In front of everyone else. I'll just call it out for what it is. Like why you feel appointed to do that.
Yeah.
Not to shame them, but I feel like I feel like just taking back that,
I
don't know, that confidence and that authority in situations like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a malicious way or like a spiteful way, but just like when it happens, like, well, this is not really, what are you doing here? Or what's the deal? Anyways.
If you think about it, Jesus did that all the time with the Pharisees.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think about too, in a situation like that, if that were to happen and I were to call it out right then, well, hey, if we're not going to, whatever that looks like, that might set the whole meeting straight from that point on.
Mm-hmm. Like, that actually doesn't feel productive.
Like, yes, exactly. And set the intention straight and clean.
Yeah.
And also lighten the load.
Yeah.
Like we're not, like no floating around taking jabs at people.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Because that's wildly disrespectful.
I know it. It's funny.
Just because you're speaking doesn't mean you get.
I know, yeah. Or if you find, it's just like, are you scanning the room for someone insignificant that you can pick on?
That you think is insignificant?
Yeah, and that everybody's going to see like, ooh, they got them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, she called him out.
Yeah, joke's on you, buddy.
I know, yeah.
Well, do you know I have Blue Angels?
I know, yeah. I got fighter jets. Don't do this. But whenever people do that, it's usually older ladies. But I look at them like mothers afterwards. I see them as like, I always ask the Lord to show me who they are. And I see them for that as like, I don't know, that motherly spirit. There's a lady up here that was rough, man. Attitude and everything. Does not like me at all.
Yeah.
But I call her by her name every time I see her, And I treat her with respect. There's no way she don't feel it.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. Because I think you can go into people-pleasing mode.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of kick over and then kind of be subservient and be like,
sure,
I don't want to walk on eggshells or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can stand in authority and actually just greet them like, hey.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Yeah. And
just
still stand your ground like.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the way.
Trying to win them over. Because I think you can tell within your own person, like, am I kind of groveling?
Am I sucking up to him because I don't want to? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure.
Or do I just feel fully confident in who I am?
Yeah.
And actually, I'm just giving space for them.
Yeah. It's true. Anyways.
That's so good.
To bring that up. To bring that little one up.
I like it.
That's good, yeah.
I just feel like there's so many opportunities like that. I mean, maybe not everybody getting called out in public like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I don't ever see it happen to many other people.
I did as a child.
Yeah.
My father did.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks.
Well, I think it's just like a... Never mind.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
People just don't know. People don't know nothing.
I know it. I got one more.
Do it.
Real quick. And Kelsey, this one is genuinely hilarious. I held the door open. I was at a gas station years ago. I don't know if it was my smile or what it was. I opened the door for a lady, and she cussed me out when she walked in. Called me a not nice name. And I lost it. Started laughing, and I got in the car and told Kelsey, hey, did I do something wrong? Or it was hilarious.
Wow.
It's like, man, I don't know. Maybe she thought I was being sarcastic, holding the door open. I don't know. That one was. I'll tell you what she called me in a little while.
Okay. I really want to know.
Yeah. It was funny because it's so.
It's like clearly I did nothing.
Yeah, I know it. Anyways.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, I have just one question.
Okay.
This phrase has been coming up a lot. Just different people saying this to me. And I've been thinking about this. Right? So you'd mentioned justice the other day or earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And certain people have like been adamant, just talking to me about different things of like, it's not fair.
Oh, that's come up too.
Nuh-uh.
Go ahead. You first.
Well, it's just an interesting statement to me.
Yeah.
Because there's like this justice thing within them that's like, it's not fair. It's not fair how you're treating me, or it's not fair XYZ situation that's going on. And I was going to ask you, like, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's funny you say that, because Kyla has been saying that.
Is it in the air or what?
Kyla has been saying, it's not fair. It's not fair. And I told her the other day, which may seem kind of harsh, I said, you know what? Nothing's fair. I said, nothing is fair, and fair doesn't matter, basically.
It's literally been my response.
Okay.
That's literally been my response.
I said, fair doesn't matter. And justice, that's not the same kind of thing, you know? And justice.
But they get intermixed.
They do. They do. Justice, or your peace and your joy does not it's unconditional. It doesn't matter if on the justice end of it. Justice is just something that happens, I think.
Yeah.
And we're good in justice and injustice, you know? Justice is a byproduct. But yeah, Kyla's been saying that, and I'm telling her, I'm like, it's really not, it doesn't matter. Fair doesn't matter. Fair is not even a factor. That's the good versus evil thing. You know?
One thing that I've noticed is like when that phrase comes out, what I feel like is actually behind it is like, hey, I actually feel very hurt and I feel dismissed and I don't feel seen in this moment. And I feel like that phrase, right? And it gets really weird in like justice thing. But I think the root of it is like, what people are communicating is like, hey, I don't feel valued here.
Yeah.
I don't feel loved in this moment. I don't feel connected.
Yeah.
And it just made me start thinking about how often people crave connection.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we try and paint over it.
Yeah.
And use as like barriers or even excuses to not be vulnerable, to be like, hey, I really just want to feel connected here.
Yeah.
Hey, I just don't feel love. I don't feel seen. I don't feel.
Well, sometimes it's not fair, or that mentality is a cheap doorway to, I want to feel valued, or to feeling valued, because it attracts people sometimes.
They cater that.
Yes.
They're like, well, of course things need to be fair.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
or
what?
Poor thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you have been treated unfair. I'm sorry.
Sympathy as a form of manipulation.
Yeah.
I don't think people are intentional in that, but I definitely think that manipulation comes in through sympathy.
For sure. Yeah.
With well-meaning people, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I don't think sympathy is a bad thing.
I don't either. It just depends on how.
But it's like, what's it attracting?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. I just feel like this thing of like people learning to take responsibility for what they actually feel.
Yeah.
Instead of saying like, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
Like, well, why don't you communicate how this makes you feel?
Yeah. Or if you feel that lack there, just ask the Lord, get that from Him in the midst of the unfair.
Yeah.
So that fair doesn't matter. I get sarcastic.
Yeah.
if somebody says that or Kyla says it, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. What do we need to do to make it fair? What do you have to, just a joke. Like, what do I need to, do we need to get this? And do you need ice cream? Will that fix it? And this is like a joke.
For sure.
Because it's just silly.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's like.
When people realize that, though, that goes back to the unconditional, everything associated with the foundation of the Lord and his value for you, the unconditional joy, the peace, all that. When people step in that, and they will, when they hear it, they will latch onto it and step into it. And when that happens, man, it's just game over.
I feel like it has to be our posture, though. Like,
it does.
We just have to posture ourselves.
We're all built for that.
Yes. It's just stepping into that understanding.
Yeah.
And even letting go of, because this is what I feel like fair is, right?
Okay.
I feel like it's self-righteousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like you were saying, like the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it's self-righteous.
Yeah.
And trying to demand something to be on your behalf.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo.
Yeah, that's right.
Wrong tree.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that stuff with Kyla, me saying that to her, every time when I say it, it goes in and she thinks about it. I can see it going in and, she's in her emotions. She's in the middle of, I want what I want, I'm not getting it, that kind of thing.
Totally.
But when I say that, it's like, okay, well, that excuse doesn't work, but then she has to think about it.
Yeah.
And she will. She'll get there. She's smart. She's clever.
She is.
She's.
But it's almost like you have to look at even the situation. Like, what's the situation that people feel like isn't fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I've had it a lot at Native.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like being in those situations where something happens that's not fair. Then you can prove it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I just like it.
Like where you feel.
Yeah, well, if something happens to me that's not fair, it's like, oh, well.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
I kind of like
my
it
orders
too.
When I go to restaurants are always wrong.
Yeah.
And I eat it anyways.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I don't either. There's
a lot of things I don't give a rat's behind about.
Yeah.
I think it's harder for people who have like large preferences on things.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of learn to let go of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like.
There's no lettuce on your hamburger.
So there's an individual that I have known, or I knew for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
Might have even dated him before Zach. But if we would go out and eat at a restaurant and his order wasn't right, he would berate people. Yeah. It's like wildly uncomfortable.
Oh, I know.
You're like, bro, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I've been with people like that.
So uncomfortable.
It's like they're looking for something.
Literally
it's like
hunting.
A robot. Yeah, hunter. Yeah, hunting.
They are hunting for things that are not fair.
Yeah. Oh, I got somebody. And one of the last times I went to eat with them a couple of years ago, we sat down and it came up of, this is cold. And I immediately was like, mine's amazing. Mine's really good. And it snuffed out. She was like, oh, okay. He's content.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dodge that bullet.
And I won't go eat with you anymore.
Exactly. He's like, nope.
There is nothing worse.
There's not enough ice cubes in my tea. Stuff like it's real.
Oh, I know.
It's crazy.
Oh, I know. Sometimes I'm like, is this real life? Is this actually happening?
I know it.
I feel like I'm on a movie set.
I always get, sometimes it gets me a little bit, and I'll tell Kelsey, if I hear somebody complain or something, I'll say, if this were the zombie apocalypse, that person's not making it. Being so picky like that, it's like, you wouldn't make it.
Picky Paula
got it
over
too
here.
Easy. Yeah. Got it too easy here.
Golly, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know why I went into the fair thing, but it just felt right.
No, it's good. It's been going on. It's been a theme.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you would like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.